Hey, welcome back to the show. Let's talk about something that's coming up this weekend, which is South by Southwest.
Yes, the Players Invitational, right? So it's really cool that they're doing this, but I guess it was put on, it's a Twitch event, so they're doing this over there. And it's an invitational where they're inviting 16 players to go there and play.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I think they're doing a round robin to determine their seeding for a top 8 bracket. I'm not sure if it's or top 16 bracket. I don't know if it's two separate events, but Friday and Saturday is all round robin, and Friday is a bracket tournament. So I'm not sure if it's like seeding to get into the tournament or if it's just a bunch of awesome matches that we get to see.
Wait, do you mean Sunday is the...
Yeah, Sunday is the bracket.
So Sunday's the bracket,
yeah,
okay.
If I'm not mistaken. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know about that. By the way, we're commentating.
Yeah, I know. I only know this because they sent us a schedule.
Right, yeah. I might want to check that out at some point. Yeah, so we're also commentating our Mike Ross and Gutex.
That's
so
right.
I guess we're gonna
we're just basically swap out back and forth.
Yeah.
So yeah. But that's
Anyway.
going to be really cool. There's a lot of really strong players that are going to be shown there. Let's go through the list of all the players that are going to show up there.
Indeed.
So at South by Southwest, we're going to have Daigo Umehara, of course.
Good
right?
choice.
We have Gamerby.
Good choice.
I really like this choice, by the way. Hamad is going to be in there because he's the hometown hero.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool.
And he's been working so hard.
Yeah.
And you're right, hometown, he's been working hard, and this is a chance for him to show on a huge stage.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Let's see here. Justin Wong is going to be there.
Okay.
Kazunoko is being flown out all the way over here. K-Brad is going to be there. LPN is going to be there. That's really cool
like
as
that.
well
Yeah.
because Mike Ross has been talking this guy up.
He's so good.
Storm, yeah. He's like the ultimate icon. He's like the KOF player of Street Fighter. He can use any character pretty much.
Yeah.
Momochi is going to be there. Knuckle Dew is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
PR Balrog is going to be there. Ricky Ortiz is going to be there. Ryan Hart, Sanford Kelly, Snake Eyes, Tokido, and Shien.
That's a great list. That's a really great list. There's a lot. There are players there who have done the fanciest that you can do, Daigo, etc. Have won Evo, and lots of other players have won majors. And then there are players like Hamad
or LPN,
or LPN.
Yeah,
very, very good players. Maybe still with something to prove.
Yeah, I love the fact that they're giving these guys chances to shine because people who know LPN and people who know Hamad know that they're strong.
Yeah.
But they're not as known to everybody else. So we need to take a lot of these players. We can't keep just highlighting the same people over and over again. So I really do like the fact that, especially for an invitational like this, that they're bringing out some other people. So.
Yeah. We'll talk more about the concept of invitationals in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's this coming weekend. By the way, very interesting for South by Southwest to do this. I think they've had tournaments before. Yeah, it's a long running thing. Gaming convention, etc.
Yeah.
But nothing on this scale. Huge. I mean, they're flying these people out. They're we're going to be commentating there, and we cost $1 million each.
Right. But no, it's really cool though. It is. It's awesome that they're having all these guys go out there and. I was about to go into the whole invitational thing, but I want to talk about that. Well, I'll talk about that a little bit later because very soon, and in fact, it's like in a couple of weeks, right? Or like 3 weeks maybe, or 4 weeks?
March 28th is going to be
28th.
Red Bull Kumite.
Okay, so that's actually... Okay, so this week is South by Southwest. Next week is final round.
Right.
Then it's the Red Bull Kumite.
Right.
Then it's NCR.
Right.
Okay. Jeez.
It's a pretty jam-packed tournament season this year. It really is. I think my May, I'm going to be somewhere every weekend.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And March is basically that for me too, GDC and then the couple things we're going to. Anyway, let's talk about the Red Bull Kumite. Similar sort of arrangement, it sounds. Invitational, it's going to be in France.
Oh, this is in France. Okay.
Pretty sure Paris, France.
Okay, and I think this is a one-day event, so I think I'm not sure if it's round robin or bracket format.
Probably bracket because, one day.
Right. But let's go over the players here again. So we have Bon Chan going to this. Again, like we said, more chance to shine. Shushu from Brazil gets to go there and try to do more than he did at Capcom Cup, unfortunately last year. But it's awesome that he's made it to this. Daigo Umehara, of course. Dominion is going out there. I mean, he might as well just live in France at this point, right? I mean, he's always going out there. Fudo from Japan. Infiltration is going to be there. Luffy, Evo champion, home at France, so makes sense.
Sure.
Mago. Nemo is going out there.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Nice.
Reinhardt is going. Snake Eyes, Tokido, Valmaster, and Shen.
I mean, another great lineup. There's a lot of really good players in there. Again, players have won Evo. Some of those players have something left to prove. Mm-hmm.
So, and what's interesting, so the funny thing is, like, right now, if you had 2 invitationals like this for Ultra Street Fighter 4 that are occurring like within 2 weeks of each other, one has 16 players, one has 14 players, you would actually think the number of repeat players between the events would number around like 8 or 9 or maybe even 10.
Yeah, I would expect a bunch.
There's only 5. So 16, 14, only 5 people are in both of the events, and that is Daigo, Snake Eyes, Tokido, Shen, and Ryan Hart. Those are the only ones that have crossed over. Guys like Infiltration, he's only in Red Bull. Momochi's only in South by Southwest. You know, it's really interesting how it kind of fell into place. But
I like that.
We have a good variety of players here, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And it's there's good representation from different regions, and I'm looking at you even wrote down the characters, and he made a little spreadsheet, which is super cool. I did. And the characters seem pretty varied.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, the weirdest part about it is I went through so many characters I didn't know who to say who they play. Like, I think I have Ricky and Justin marked down as Rose, but I wasn't sure if they should be Rose.
Right.
Because Ricky's been playing a lot of Rose, but he's also been playing Rolento.
Sure.
Right. I had no idea who Ryan Hart plays nowadays, right? I don't know who LPN plays because he plays everybody. Yeah. I don't even know who Infiltration plays anymore these days. Is he really an Akuma main? I have no idea. But between the 2 events, there's 25 players, right? So we have 3 of them from Asia other, non-Japan, basically, right? We have 8 players from Japan. We have 3 players from Europe.
Okay.
We have 1 player from South America. Sure. And interestingly enough, America gets the most with 10 players between the 2 invitationals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know if I want to say it makes sense, but it's understandable, given, one of them is in the U.S.
Right.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that there are only 3 Europeans.
Yeah, exactly. Especially since one of them is in France.
Right.
Yeah, I would have expected a lot more in there, but it's the 3 that we know: Valmaster, Shen, and Ryan Hart. It's Shen, Luffy, and Ryan Hart.
Yeah, I mean, those are great picks. But yeah, I think I might have expected more. But well.
Like, I'm surprised they didn't put Alioun in the Red Bull.
Yeah, Alioun. I mean, there's we talked about quite a few European players.
But I guess Alioun just hasn't had as many tournament results lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think he hates SF4.
Okay, that would be a problem. That would be a problem. Yeah, I could see that as being a hindrance.
I am, but whatever. He's forever Team Nam, even if for like a year he wasn't.
Yeah,
he's back on the team.
Right. But okay, so here's the interesting thing, right? So we can talk about this now a little bit.
Yeah. 2
exhibitions, 2 invitationals.
Yeah.
So we just had an invitational sort of in Canada Master Series. Earlier this year in January. So we've already had 3 invitationals, essentially. Right. What do you think about this trend of invitationals? Are we going to see a bunch more during the course of the year? And do you like it? Or do you prefer to have the old school tournament fashion?
Definitely, I prefer to have open tournaments. Mm-hmm. That's for sure my preference. Okay. It's very important to me that new players get the chance to come up. Mm-hmm. It's really important to me to keep that openness. I don't want somebody to look at a player like Momochi or Daigo or whoever and think that the only way that they can play them is if they work themselves up the ranks so much that they get invited to these things. I want them to feel like they can play those players, maybe not in casuals or whatever, but in a tournament you start at the same spot and you have to move forward. I really like that idea.
Yeah.
I think that's important to keep around. At the same time, I understand, the attraction from the organizer's perspective. I talked a bunch about this with Chris Seglia, actually.
Oh, interesting.
GDC,
oh, cool. Okay.
Big organizer / stream guy.
Producer.
Yeah. And he was saying that it's just a more stable thing for organizers. It's easier to plan in time and resources. Even if you pay more for the players, there's other stuff that you don't have to plan for, and you don't have to get quite as gigantic facilities and all sorts of stuff like that. So.
And even just like I remember when we did Aftershock, one of the things that, because he was the producer for Aftershock, one of the things that he talked about having kind of invitational stuff is you get to do a lot of prep work for all the players. So you can get the video interviews with them and all these things like that. So it's just for production-wise, it's a lot easier.
Absolutely. And from a commentary perspective, it's easier. I mean, it is. When we go in, we know exactly which players are coming. We might not know all of the characters that they're going to use, but we know the players, and so we can go into it thinking, as we have in the past, in these kind of situations, who we think is going to do well. We'll talk about matchups, and it's very interesting, and it's fun. I just don't want to lose the other side of it, the openness, right? I like them both, but I prefer open, I guess.
Right, yeah. I mean, if I had to pick one or the other, I would pick open tournaments
for sure
any day of the week.
For sure.
I think there's a really nice marriage between the two, and I think that as long as the regular tournaments that we have, the NCRs, the CEOs, the combo breakers, and these things like that, as long as they don't go away, I am okay with having these invitationals, and I actually really do enjoy the invitationals because it's just one of those cool things because you get to showcase a lot of talent and stuff like that. I guess the only real caveat that I have is just that we were already talking about this with LPN and Shushu and I forgot who the last one was.
Hamad.
What's
Probably.
that? Oh, Hamad. Yeah. As long as the invitationals are open enough to grab different players.
That's so key.
If we end up with the same 16 people at every invitational, I would want to kill invitationals outright.
100%.
Outright. I would just be like, done with invitationals.
100%. I entirely, as much as I like seeing those players play, I don't want to see them every time.
Yeah, I don't want it to be one of those things where it's just like, hey, here's the important people. Like, I don't want that to happen because, like you said, you want to let the other people get up there. Players like Hamad, where did he come from? He's traveling to all the tournaments and he's practicing his ass off.
Putting the work in.
Right, exactly. And, he's doing it through these open tournaments and stuff, and now he's being rewarded in this kind of situation.
Right.
So, if we have invitationals, as long as we keep the variety and as long as it doesn't take the place of open tournaments, I like them. So
as far as Hamad goes, look, he's a bit of a stretch when it comes to if you're going to have players like Momochi and stuff. Hamad, I think, is a really good and talented player, but he just hasn't had results that stack up, and I'm sure he'll say that as well. But I really like that actually. I agree. It's very important that invitationals not be too closed, and I would rather have them err on the side of having like experimental or up and coming players. I think that's really, really important for everything. It's important for community. It's important to, if we're going to be all esports about it, it's important to building brands. It's important to building the money involved in it and not being too predictable. Having the same people play every couple of weeks is not going to be that interesting to everybody. It's going to be more interesting if you have a variety of people. Even if they don't end up doing that well, and maybe LPN goes there and as good as we think he is, he goes 0-2.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally possible. But it's valuable for those reasons I mentioned. It's also valuable for LPN to be in those situations.
Exactly.
Maybe in the future he does better having been in that situation before.
Yeah, and I see in the stream chat someone saying that open tournaments, pool play is just pro players beating up on, noobs and stuff like that all day. And you could say that, but
oftentimes.
Let's think about someone, nowadays this sounds really silly, but let's think about Pepidai's friends convincing him to go to Tokyo Game Show.
Perfect.
Right? if they didn't convince him to go, he wouldn't be traveling around the world all over the place right now.
Example.
Right? Exactly. So because that was an open tournament, he decided no one knew who Pepidai was. And in like 6 months, he's like the talk of Street Fighter 4, right? He's talk of Ultra.
Like he was like top 25 in arcade rankings, and still a lot of the players didn't know who he was. In Japan.
Yeah, because even the Japanese commentator, I think Z was commentating. Yeah. He was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, and he asked players there. They were like, I don't know who this guy is. He was like top 25 already. But that's a perfect example.
Right. Without open tournaments, we would have no Pepidais, right? And so that's what we need. That's why we have to have these open tournaments. You can't always be guaranteed that these, no names are going to get bodied. They may body everybody else.
Yeah, I don't want the top players who are accustomed to being in these events to like start coasting and they're not putting in the work anymore because I'm going to get invited anyway. No.
Yeah. But like you said, for like corporate, like kind of like the esports side of things, it's definitely a very important thing because you have Red Bull, you have these big prizes and stuff like that. You can do a lot of promotions ahead of time and stuff. So kind of reminds me of World Series of Poker, a lot of open poker tournaments, but then you get a lot of those poker invitationals. I always put
that makes sense, man.
I always put Street Fighter in the same area as poker. It feels the most similar to me because it's kind of the same thing where you can get put at a table with Phil Ivey, and you can bluff him out.
Oh, you're right.
You know what I mean, kind of thing. So, but
yeah. Of all the sports, poker is the most. Nope.
But I mean, they're both. I mean, there's a reason why players like both of them. A lot of Street Fighter players like poker because it's all psychological.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's reading.
There's a lot of similarities.
Making a lot of bets and stuff like that. Like
situation.
You don't have anything. I'm gonna fierce uppercut you, even though I don't have meter to FADC.
Right. Totally.
That's the all-in moment. So.
Anything else to say about these things?
Not about those two particular events, but there are a lot of other events.
What else
with
is coming
kind
up?
of a little bit of news. So in 2 weeks, the first Capcom Premier event is coming up, and that is Final Round.
Yes.
Final Round 18. 18.
I mean, awesome. Good 18. Job to Larry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Shout outs to Shin Blanca. That guy has been doing this for a long time, and it's pretty much one of the stalwarts of the tournament, of the FGC tournament calendar year, I guess you could say. So.
Man, I don't know. You're gonna find a longer tournament series in any game, right? Like what's gonna
That's true.
What's gonna outlast that?
Yeah, I mean, Final Round 1 when they were playing Street Fighter 1, with the pressure sensitive. No, I'm just kidding.
It's not Final Round 20 yet. Okay.
But yeah, no, that's really, really cool. That's really cool. But there's a lot of really crazy stuff going on in there. And first of all, Final Round's always been a very Tekken-heavy place.
Sure.
It is going to be not only the first Capcom Premier event location, it is also the first place America's going to be able to see Tekken 7. So Harada is bringing that, not Harada himself, but but Namco is bringing Tekken 7 over to Final Round. Everyone's going to be able to play that over there, so that's going to be really cool. And remember, Tekken 7 is one of the games at EVO, so this is probably going to be the only chance for some of the US players to even get any practice in this game at all.
That's true.
Obviously it's going to show up to more events than just, Final Round. It'll probably pop up at a couple of more of the big events during the course of the year. But, yeah. So, but the other thing that I wanted to mention was they released a little bit of registration numbers. And again, by the way, this is 2 weeks from now, so it's coming right down there. We're going to be there again. So, yeah, 2 weekends in a row, we're going to be traveling around the place.
3 for me.
Oh, that's right, huh? But what's really cool here, I mean, obviously, Street Fighter 4 is the top. And again, this is kind of what I wanted to mention earlier, is that Capcom Pro Tour is really starting to feel like it's taking effect.
Yeah.
Because not only is Ultra Street Fighter obviously the top numbers, I don't have the list here, but there's a ridiculous amount of Japanese players that is coming to this event.
I heard about that.
There's just some contingent.
Yeah.
Just they're coming in droves. I mean, I've never seen this many Japanese players come to an event that wasn't EVO. And
I mean, that's awesome.
They're all coming out here. They all want to get a piece of that Capcom Pro Tour Premier points. And they know the Premier events gives them not only more cash prizes, but also more points. So if you get second place at Abuget Cup, you probably get more points if you get fourth place at final round. You know what I mean? Kind of a situation. So.
Probably.
But yeah, right now the top games over there are Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which
Yeah.
everyone says is a dead game,
Yeah.
and it's the farthest thing from dead. But interestingly enough, Guilty Gear Xrd Sign is in third place.
I heard that Guilty Gear had more than Marvel.
Did it?
That's what I heard. Maybe that's inaccurate because I see.
Oh, actually it says that they're only separated by a couple of players, so it's probably
okay,
racing
up and
like
down.
this.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah.
That's awesome. By the way,
Yeah.
that Guilty Gear is that high. I think that's super cool.
I'm
very happy about that.
My brain has just been like inundated with Guilty Gear recently. This is like all I do is Guilty Gear training mode and stuff like that. So, dude, I'm so happy for this game.
I also heard that like Under Night had more than Smash.
It's just something crazy
that's
like
what
that.
I heard.
Yeah.
And I maybe that's inaccurate.
Yeah, but Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is in fourth place because it's final round.
Should be.
Final round has always been considered the Evo of Tekken.
Should be.
Right? So, and the South has a very, very strong Tekken contingent there. And apparently, the fifth highest game is Smash Brothers Wii U. Not Melee.
Above Melee.
Wii U. And actually, I heard this about NCR as well. Wii U has more entrants than Melee does. So that's two tournaments now where Wii U is actually outdoing Melee. Which is really curious. It's
curious.
Yeah.
That's a good word for it. Okay.
And of course, I don't know if they're running customs or not at all these events.
Oh, good question. Like I'm not sure the rules.
Yeah. I know EVO's not solidified on it. Right now, EVO says customs are available, but they're not sure yet.
And CEO, I think, does not allow it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there was a tournament result that I just watched Grand Finals where I saw Dr. Mario beat Rosalina because they allowed customs, and it made Dr. Mario a better character.
Oh, dude, that the down B, the spin.
He used that one time, but it was also the pill that just shoots really far straight forward because it's just more like a little damage dealer. You know what I mean? So he would just shoot it every once in a while. So it was actually really kind of neat to see. So, I mean, some people
I like a lot of those
in the thread in a Smashboards thread, they were all like super happy. They were just like, it's really cool to see a Dr. Mario do well against a Rosalina. Yeah. And in fact, the guy who ran the tournament, and I tweeted this out earlier, had 3 cheat sheets of all of their custom moves that just kind of have short descriptions of them. Like Bowser was like, one of his fire was projectile version, one was like this other version. So this was just a cheat sheet that he had that people could take a look at and see, what did my opponent use and stuff like that. Which is actually really kind of cool.
That is smart.
Yeah, but I don't know. I from what I can tell, it makes it look really interesting. I kind of like the customs right now, and I know it's really wavering with the player base right now. It's I can't tell if one is preferred over the other because both of them are just as loud, you know. So there's been a lot of praise for it, and there's been a lot of detractors. So.
Okay.
But yeah, very cool. So again, final round is gonna have. Dude, did my Firefox crash here, dude? Firefox is like the worst browser ever. No, that's not true. IE is pretty bad. So.
What are you gonna talk about here? Sure, you can.
I wanted to talk about Level Up because they announced their initial lineup, and my God.
Yeah, man, I got it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
It's starting.
You got it.
It's starting to move.
Okay. All right. Bringing up some of that memory a little bit.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
Man.
But there are like 97 games, I swear. Like, Vi is kind of going crazy with the game list again.
Nice.
Yeah, but a lot of good support for the Arxis games, I'll just call them anime games.
Yeah, whatever. There's no good term.
But so here's the tentative list. So it can change.
Okay.
It can change, and a lot of the details for Southern California Regionals are starting to come in place, like the hotel we're staying at, and Vi is doing some interesting things, which I'll talk about in a second. But Ultra Street Fighter 4, obviously, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Smash Brothers Wii U and Melee.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat X, because it'll be out by then.
MKX.
Killer Instinct, Dead or Alive 5, Last Round, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, King of Fighters 13.
Nice.
Guilty Gear Xrd Sign and Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R.
Excellent.
And Mobile Suit Gundam.
I like it. That's awesome.
because they always play the Gundam games, right? Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasma, which is now going to be updated to the Extend version because they announced it'll be out in time.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Under Night In Birth, EXE Late,
Woo!
and Skullgirls.
Woo!
That's a lot of games.
It's a lot of games. Yeah.
That is a lot of games. Yeah.
But that's great.
Yeah. So that's the initial
Fit
list.
in what you could fit.
And that's going to be first weekend of May. And
yeah.
Just one other thing about this event that Vi's been tweeting about. He said that he's like trying to set it up so that he's going to have like I don't want to call them tour buses, but like he's going to set up what to do outside of the tournament, like at like late night, like afterwards. He's going to have like caravans or something, but he's basically
going to have a bar crawl is what you're talking about?
Probably.
Is that what he's going to have? That
Probably.
Is so good.
But he's trying to set up a bunch of stuff so that you already have things that, like, you don't have to go, what should I do out here? He'll have stuff for you and maybe even, like, public transportation for people.
That really is smart.
No, it's awesome. I think that's amazing.
I don't know why nobody's done that before. It seems like such a good fit.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, I actually don't have that listed here, but, you know, just getting ahead of ourselves. How about Jabalian CEO? Mm-hmm. Did you hear what he did?
Yes.
Finally.
What did he do?
He got the 10% off to Popeyes.
There's a Popeyes across the street from the venue.
Everybody ate at.
Everybody ate at.
Yeah.
For sure. So they were already getting a lot of business.
Uh-huh.
And now he's finally convinced them to give him a deal.
Yep.
Like, in order to bring in even more business, presumably.
Yeah, so if you have a CEO badge, you get 10% off of your order at Popeyes. And not only that, there's apparently a Red Robin restaurant built in there, and you'll get 10% there as well. So Jabali...
That's awesome.
Dude, that's so sick. Once we start getting into this venue is when events start getting into that whole San Diego Comic-Con where it takes over a city kind of feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he could even get deals with, like, discounted tickets to Disneyland and stuff like that so people would make vacations out of Orlando and stuff like that, you know, that's when you know we're getting there.
Dang. Wow. Yeah, that's such a good way to bring people in, right? I mean, a lot of people have concerns about how much tournaments... Wow, hold on. I don't know what just happened.
I was like, are you okay?
No, something happened in my... All right, anyway.
Okay. If you need to cough more, I'll just switch
No,
the
I'm trying to remember what I was
saying.
Oh, yeah. So once you're at an event, that's not the full cost. Like, you have to eat while you're there. You have to do things while you're there. So to have that all be cheaper... I mean, that's a significant draw, I think, especially if you can get even more than, you know, Popeyes is great, Red Robin's great, but yeah, if you can get the other things.
Yeah. I mean, again, that's ideas like that, like if it's a Disneyland thing, ideas like that sound like a great idea 5 years down the line.
It's tough to do.
It's going to be a long 10 years down the line, maybe. You know, it'll be a while. But it's good that that some guys are already getting started. You know, Jabali doing this and Vi doing this nightlife kind of thing. Right. You know, post SDR. If you don't want to go straight to sleep, you know, if you're not a commentator and you have to work, you know.
I'd love to go on that thing, but probably won't be able
to. Yeah. But that's really cool. So, but yeah, that's Southern California Regionals. Even Northwest Majors is getting a lot of press with like a lot of. Like Ogawa's going there, huge Guilty Gear player. Koji KOG Dogura is going there. So sounds like they're going to have a pretty good lineup of guests as well.
Yeah, they have a really good connection in Shota.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know if that's the only reason, but I imagine that helps.
Okay.
I also wanted to bring up, coming up this weekend, same weekend as South by Southwest, is the 9 States tournament in Japan.
Oh, is this one of the ranking events? Or?
It's a qualifier for Capcom Pro Tour Asia.
Okay, cool.
And there's going to be a bunch of really, really good players from all over Japan who are going there. Nice. I imagine people who, you know, if you're going to South by Southwest from Japan, then okay, but a lot of other really, really good players are going to be going. And dude, that's such a cool like time slot, like those two. Like, they're on opposite sides of the world. So, like, right. South by Southwest goes during the day in North America, and then, hey, by nighttime, it's Japan time. Let's do it. So, that's so sick. It's like 24 hours of right?
Ultra Street Fighter 4. Yeah, definitely.
That's really cool. I really, really like that.
But one more, well, actually there's a couple of things, a couple of more events I want to talk about. Let me talk about this one first, that the Ultra Arcade is, remember they're putting out that Killer Instinct kind of, Killer Instinct Cup, like the Capcom Pro Tour, right? So they're doing that. But I just wanted to point out that they announced that they're extending it to gain points from online tournaments as well. And that's really cool because KI has really good online netcode, right? So that's going to be kind of exciting for that. And we'll get into this a little bit, but they're getting some interesting characters in that game. They're getting some interesting characters
so
in there.
Good.
But the last upcoming event that I wanted to talk about was, this just came out today, and that's EVO 2015.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard about this.
Already has broken Apex's Smash Melee record. Already has broken Smash's Apex Melee record in number of entrants.
Dang.
And it is only March 10th. Not only that,
wow.
So Ultra Street Fighter 4 obviously has over 1,000 players, right? So both Melee and Ultra Street Fighter 4 have over 1,000 players as expected.
Uh-huh.
Smash Wii U also over 1,000 players already registered for EVO.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dang.
So already in March we have
Smash
3
takeover.
games. We have 3 games over 1,000.
Wow.
And
that's great.
And here's a little fun theory game for you. If there was no Capcom Pro Tour and no 500,000 for Capcom Cup this year for all the tournaments and stuff like that, do you feel like Smash would be number 1 and 2 in number of entrants at EVO?
Ooh, man. I'm sure CPT helps, man. I'm sure it does.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised, even as is. I wouldn't be that surprised to see Melee overtake SF4.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bet on that, but if it happens, it's not going to be out of the blue.
Yeah, it's the only game that really has the chance. So, but
sure.
3 games in March. We still have
That's amazing.
4 months left to go. But 3 games already over 1,000 players, and that is Ultra Street Fighter 4, Melee, which has broken the Apex record already, and Smash Wii U over 1,000 players. That's ridiculous.
If you were to think there's another game that could get over 1K, which one do you think it would be?
Marvel?
I don't know.
It'll be hard, but someone actually said that right now Street Fighter 4, someone in chat said that Mr. Wizard said Street Fighter 4 has far more entrants than Smash.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so who knows how much over 1,000 Street Fighter 4 has then. Okay.
Sure. Interesting.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of good stuff coming up. Man, this is quite a tournament season so far, right?
It's like the first 3 months was like the first 2 months of the year was just kind of like
a couple of things here and there.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden we just hit the ground running, and now we're going at it full bore. So.
Dang. All right. Well, you want to take a little break?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about when we come back?
When we come back, we are going to talk about. Oh, I didn't even change the event news down here. Sorry, my bad. But yeah, we're going to be talking about a lot of game news that's coming up as well. So.
MKX stuff, Killer Instinct stuff, BBC PX, I don't know, just PEX, I guess.
And some other really random surprises.
Etc.
So yeah, exactly. So we'll be right back.